My right leg is going to lift into sort of downward facing dog, three-legged dog. And now, option, you can bend that right knee, bringing your heel in towards your seat, knees pointing up towards the ceiling. We're just opening that right hip here. Hips should be in one line. Good, and then I'm going to place that right foot back onto the mat. And we're going to switch sides. My left, three-legged dog. Bending my left knee. Opening that left hip. Knee comes towards the ceiling. And my heel's coming towards my sit bones. Nice, left foot towards on the mat. Now, looking up at your hands, drishti should be between your fingers. I'm going to slowly begin to walk up towards the front of my mat. Coming into a forward fold. So, you can bend your knees as much as you need to. Chest, heart should be drawing in close to your thighs. Hands can be on the mat or on the ground or wherever they land. We're going to come into ragged elbows. I'm going to demonstrate here in the front of my mat. Forehead draws down towards the mat. And maybe you begin to rock from side to side. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, we're going to come up to standing Savasana, mountain pose. So mountain pose is a nice resting pose, but in the standing position. Palms facing towards your body or towards the front of the room. Feet are grounded into the ground. Toes are spread wide. Check in with your spine. Your back should be tall. Crown of your head moving towards the ceiling. Come back to that yoga breath. Now we're going to bring our hands up towards the ceiling, and I'm going to take my right hand and hold on to my left wrist. And we're going to come into a crescent move, side stretch here. So I'm going to take my right hand and pull my left wrist towards the right side of the room. Each breath, see if you can stretch a little bit deeper here. Feeling this in your left side body. Or right side if you're mirroring me. Drishti looking towards the front of the room or maybe up towards the ceiling. And then we'll come back to center. And I'm going to switch sides. So my left hand is going to grab onto my right wrist. And then coming into a side stretch. Crescent Move. Back to center. Star pose. We're going to come into a 5-point star here. So the 5 points are my toes, my feet, there's 1 and 2, my hands, my arms, 3, 4, and the crown of my head is 5. And we're going to move this star into a folded star. So we're just going to bring our hands towards the ground. Crown of my head is coming towards my fingers. Twisty star, left hand comes towards the floor, right hand reaches up towards the ceiling, the sky, and your eyes can be looking towards the side of the room, or maybe it looks up at your fingers. Feel this twist. Good, and we'll come back to center, and we'll come to the opposite side. Make sure you're breathing throughout your practice. Nice, and I'm going to place both my hands on the ground. And forward fold again. Maybe this time you shake your head out no. And bend my knees, toes pointing out to 45 degrees. Coming into a yogi squat. So my hands are going to be at my heart center. My elbows close to my knees. And we're just going to be opening. Breathe. If this is too much, you can always bring your hands down to the ground. Frog pose. And then we're all going to come down onto our mats. So toes are going to be facing towards the bottom of my mat. So we're going to come into a reverse table this time. So my fingers are pointing towards my sit bones. And when I'm ready, I'm going to push the soles of my feet and the palms of my hands into the ground so I can lift my hips up towards the ceiling. Drishti, eyes looking up towards the sky or maybe behind you. Lifting in your hips. This is really good for strengthening your shoulders. Breathe here. One more last breath. And then we're going to drop our sit bones to the ground. Bringing our knees into our chest. We're going to roll onto our back. Give yourself a hug. Do some rocks for chin into your knees. Rock them side to side. Yoga bridge pose. So bending our knees. Soles of our feet come onto our mats. We're going to place our hands onto the mat. Using the soles of our feet and our hands, we're going to push into that mat again to lift our hips up. But this time, my head, neck, and shoulders stay on the ground. Breathe here. Last breath. And then very slowly, you're going to release this, giving yourself a massage. So first, your upper back is going to come onto the mat slowly. And then your middle back. And then your lower back. Nice work. Now we're going to come into a supine twist. And supine means you're on your back. So my arms are going to be in either a field goal, cactus arms, or they can be in T shape. Knees are bent. And I'm going to drop my knees to the right side. And I'm going towards the opposite left side. You should feel a twist here. Shoulders on the mat. Breathe into this twist. Nice, and we'll come back to center. And we'll switch sides. Dropping your knees to the opposite side. And looking. My knees drop to the left, so now I'm going to look towards the right. Twisting is really healthy. Helps eliminate toxins that are in your body. And then we'll move back into that bridge pose. We're going to take one more bridge pose. So walk your heels towards your fingers, lifting hips off the ground, and then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, coming down towards the mat. Candlestick pose. I'm going to lift my legs. Notice how my tailbone, my lowest part of my lower back, is still on the mat. Toes pointing in towards the ground. Just feel the natural release, blood falling down your legs. This is a really nice pose to come into before bedtime. And I'm going to slowly bring my feet back to the mat. In our last pose, we're going to come into a figure 4 stretch. So this is really good for opening our hips. So I'm going to keep one of my knees bent, and I'm going to bring my ankle to that knee. Just pigeon on your back. And I'm going to begin to feel my right hip opening. If you feel this and this is tight, you might just want to stay here. Or you can take your right hand and bring it to your right knee and just gently give it a little love towards the front of the ground. If you want more in this pose, you can bring your fingers and interlace them behind that leg, lifting that foot off the ground, maybe pulling that knee in towards your body. Send your breath to any body part that needs it. I like to visualize air going into my hips as I breathe during this nice deep stretch. Now I'm going to place my left foot on the floor. One more gentle push towards the front of the room, and then I'm going to release that. I'm going to switch sides. In yoga, when we do one side, we always have to do the other opposite side so our body feels balanced. So my my left ankle is going to come to my right knee. Figure 4 stretch. And then take my left hand and gently push onto that left knee. This is enough. You can just stay here. Or option to interlace those fingers again, lifting your right foot off the ground. Maybe just giving yourself a gentle hug in towards your body. Release my hands and my feet back to the mat. And from here, we're going to walk our feet, legs straight, coming into Savasana. So in Savasana, we find stillness. Most people end their class on their backs. The option to come into Savasana seated or even standing. Allow your entire body just to melt into the floor below you. I'm just going to relax my toes pointing out. Palms of my hands are facing towards the ceiling. Shoulders back and away from my ears. My jaw is soft. Cheeks are soft. My forehead is soft. Let everything go here. Your eyelids can begin to close, or you can keep your drishti looking at something that's not moving. Begin to feel that yoga breath again. Begin to listen to the yoga breath. Shavasana. If you have extra time to stay in Shavasana, please stay here as long as you need. For those of you who are interested in finishing with me, you can begin to just gently wiggle your fingers and your toes, keeping your eyes closed. And you begin to roll your wrists and your ankles. And then when you're ready, we're going to come onto one side, rolling. So bending your knees, reaching your bottom arm towards the back of the room. We're going to just drop those knees down towards the ground, using that bottom arm as a pillow. Stay here and thank yourself for your practice. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly come into a seated position in which we started our practice. So you option to come into easy crisscross applesauce, or you can come into that hero's pose on your knees. Palms are facing down for grounding. Eyes are still closed. Hands to my heart center. Bringing my chin towards my chest. The light in me honors the light in you. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you all for being here today and for your practice. And I'll see you next class. Take care.